You want to talk about Georgi Mamardashvili, first and foremost. He actually got sound, Errol.
Really? With what percentages?
15.9% boss, 29% sound, 32% decent, and 22% you're messing. So it's fairly close across the board. Oh, sorry, no, we got decent. It's because I clicked sound to see that. It's because I clicked sound.
You like sound, yeah, sound. Okay, wow, really? Okay, that surprised me because and again, obviously, I'm going to have to try and read the room here because it looks like these are going to be some pretty low scores. But he might be my first candidate for a veto there. I don't know if I'm able to veto right across to boss, but I thought there was a conversation to be had about Mamardashvili tonight because you mentioned in the top of the show, you know, there's a couple of moments where you've seen him and he stayed on his line, and that's a little bit of an observation where you think you'd want him to see a little bit more urgency to kind of shut down attackers. He was capable of doing that tonight. First off, in particular, I think he comes up with 2 or 3 big saves that keeps the scoreline respectable, if I'm being completely honest with you. It's a best, Alisson Becker impression that we could have hoped for, especially at PSG's ground, and we know how well he performed for us last season there to keep the scoreline what it was on the night. I thought Mamardashvili, in terms of his kicking tonight, his distribution and his shot stopping, and again a little bit of the reading the game. There was a big ball that goes over the top and it's one ball right over the top in that second half. Nobody's anywhere near it and he's onto it, he reads it, he comes out, he sweeps up. I thought there's nothing he can really do against the first goal. I think we look back, I thought at first maybe his positioning was a little bit off. Obviously it takes a wicked deflection off Gravenberch's heel, which kind of then does him. I think there's another couple of shots where he does really well in terms of the saves that he makes, especially in terms of Dembele and Doué. And then the second half, I don't think there's anything he can do. Does he not commit enough when Kvaratskhelia tries to run around him? I'm not 100% sure, but I think this may be indicative of the results in terms of the rankings more than in terms of his actual performance. But I thought his performance tonight, it deserves better than just decent. And look, he's going to get a run of games now, so he's going to be somebody that we're going to have to rely on in the sticks for Liverpool Football Club. And if he puts in performances like that across the next 7 or 8 games that we've got for the rest of the season, I think Liverpool can at least have the confidence that they've got a decent goalkeeper deputising for Alisson Becker.
Absolutely, I think you're spot on with everything you said about him, mate. And I think the other thing I'd like to bring up is, what did you think about his kicking tonight?
I thought that's been his best. I think it's been the best that I've seen him for in a Liverpool shirt, to be honest with you. I know he's very left-footed and it's taken time sometimes for the players to try and feed him onto his left foot when they can't, just so he can then keep that natural movement and keep the ball moving. But tonight, whether it was left foot, right foot, and he had to take it early or he had to try and get it up the pitch, he was more than happy and more than prepared to do so. So, yeah, I thought his distribution tonight, he did a couple tonight, which he was pretty pinpoint as well. I remember Szoboszlai had a couple of opportunities, and I know the hold-up play from the forward line, and we'll get into that, was not great. But in terms of his distribution tonight, I thought he was on the money.
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose the other thing then is, obviously, without his saves, Errol, Liverpool are out of this tie. He makes 4 saves on the night. Couple of them really good ones as well. They missed crucial 3 big chances, didn't they, out there 4? So, yeah, crucial timing of the saves as well. Has Mamardashvili given us a chance at Anfield? And do Liverpool have a chance at Anfield?
Look, we haven't got to where we've got to as a club, as the fan community and all the rest of it, if we didn't believe that Liverpool can do and overturn some incredible feats at times. And down the years we have done it. Liverpool Football Club has got a rich history of being able to do it. So on the basis of that, then yes, absolutely. Down to the good work of Mamardashvili tonight, Liverpool are still in with a chance to progress into the Champions League semi-final. It is going to need a component of a number of things, and we'll probably unpack that while we're looking at some of the other players throughout. But we need another 90 minutes like we got from him tonight, and we also need Anfield in full flow, with full energy, with that full buy-in that anything can happen on the night and the magic can be done and Liverpool can salvage a result. I think tonight we needed to be perfect in terms of the defending as a unit. It needed to be on point, which we obviously wasn't. And then those counter-attacks, there was always going to be few and far chances. We wasn't going to have an abundance of opportunities in front of goal and put their goalkeeper under untold pressure. But Liverpool had to box smart and just be a little bit clever. And when we did pick those moments and those counter-attacks, and I just don't think we was there. We wasn't perfect at all. we don't necessarily need to be perfect at Anfield. Obviously, we need to score goals, which we fail to do, but we will need to score goals. But we need to basically embrace and try and invoke all of the emotions and all of the things that we have done and called upon in the past that has helped us overturn some crazy situations, some crazy scenarios, and help Liverpool go on and continue that rich history of the European heritage that we've got. So we don't necessarily need to be perfect, but we are going to need a goalkeeper to stand up in the way that he stood up tonight. So I think from his perspective, the confidence level should be high. And I hope that when we get back to Anfield and having our own home crowd, it just feeds into the team, for the team to just be able to give that little bit more in their performance. What are your thoughts?
I honestly, I've just sort of said this on my match reaction, but I think it's, I think it's worth repeating. Like, for me, I look at it and think, we've seen some shit sides over the years. Well, we've been Liverpool fans all our lives, and that goes for me, you, and everybody sat here watching. Absolutely. And we've seen some results at Anfield against better sides. For the large majority of my life, Liverpool have been the underdog because they're not the best. They've not been the best side. So I've seen Anfield do special things and fire crapper Liverpool teams to big results. You think about Barcelona, of course you do, but that Liverpool side was unbelievable, but we just had a few players missing. So I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking further back. And I think that that's the thing for me. The beauty is that I think Liverpool will be galvanised, the fan base I'm talking about here. And I think European night under the lights quarter-final is a big enough game where we can inject something into the players that they haven't been able to show us so far this season, and that's the big difference. So I do live in hope, and I know that it's unlikely, but I've seen special things happen at Anfield, so I think that they can happen again, Errol.
And I take that energy because we don't know where we're going to be in the Premier League come the end of the season. We don't know what that is then going to mean in regards to Liverpool's Champions League prospects for next season. This could be a Champions League night where we, let's just understand what's at stake. It could be Mohamed Salah's last ever Champions League farewell bow at Anfield. It could be Virgil van Dijk's potential last ever Champions League bow out at Anfield. If the season was to peter away in the fashion that it looks like it's going to, there's a very, very high chance that happens. And if it does, then we owe it to these players that over the course of their careers, take the season in isolation, but over the course of their careers, they've given absolutely everything for the shirt. They've put it in, they've won the big trophies, they have been absolute world beaters for years on years now. We as fans owe it to them. If this is how it's going to go out, and it's not the fairy tale ending as fans that we want, but if this is how they're going to go out, they are going to have to go out with every single fan going to war for them in that sense. We're going to have to leave everything in those stands for that 90 minutes just for those set of players that have given us absolutely everything over their career. I'm thinking of the likes of Andy Robertson, Joe Gomez, obviously Virgil van Dijk, Mohamed Salah. These new lads also need to feel that they need to be inspired to know that if they're going to continue and the mantle's been passed and the torch has been passed on to them, that there is something magical that transcends the playing staff, the managerial staff within this club, and it is just in part of Liverpool Football Club's DNA. So they need to be a witness to those magical occasions as well. So I hope massively with everything that we can upset PSG next week. We can really catch them cold. Because one of the things that I noticed more than anything else was PSG are a brilliant side, taking nothing away from them. I think they deserve an immense amount of credit for the way that they performed tonight. But their performance borderlined cocky. And we've seen cocky teams before become unstuck because they have then lacked that level of professionalism. They've lacked that level of concentration. They've lacked that focus in order to get the job done. We think of the way that PSG have capitulated in the past against Barcelona, and some of those games have been overturned. Bayern Munich have done it to cocky Arsenal teams. It's happened in the Champions League to a whole host of teams that have felt that they are too good for their opposition and they come unstuck. If PSG go in with any mentality that they are just going to breeze through 90 minutes at Anfield because they done it last year and the atmosphere wasn't that intimidating, and we will try our utmost to prove that they are wrong and how wrong that they are for thinking that in the first place. So that's the little bit of glimmer. That's what their weakness could be. Our strength has to be the fortress that once was Anfield. It hasn't really been steadfast this season. It hasn't really been robust enough. But if there's ever a night that we need to really channel all of that passion, all that energy, I'm trying to gash us up, when you see this, by the way. I know it's not been a pretty watch tonight. I know it has been a tough result. 3 losses on the bounce in all competitions for this Liverpool side. But next week, we have to leave it all on the pitch. We have to leave it all on the stands, because if Liverpool don't, that is the end of our season. Absolutely,
well said, mate. And just to bring it down on it, DK Waters, one of our Redmen Plus subscribers, says the crowd will try, the team will drain the life out of Anfield.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks.
Because there's always a yin to someone's yang, isn't there, unfortunately? And it's, you know what, it might be the way that it goes. We're going to carry on with the player rankings show anyway. You can join us for the rest of it over on Redmen Plus on the app. If you sign up through the app, you get it for £1 for a month to try it out. It's the best place to watch all of our content. So please do go over there and try that one out.
That was a clip from our player ranking show. To check out the full show, head on over to the Redmen Plus app.